Okay, we can turn on our microphones. And I'll call this meeting to order. This is Town Council special meeting on March 5th, 2024. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Yes, good evening. Councilman Larson.
Here.
Councilman Dickerson.
Here.
Mayor Green.
Here.
Councilman Castillo.
Here.
And Councilman Burchard.
Here.
Mayor Green, you have a quorum of the council with all councilmen present.
Thank you. First item of business is the Wyoming Welcome Sign Project. We had a discussion last meeting regarding this, and we've kind of discussed a couple different options of signs. One that was actually emailed, or we got a quote on, if I could find it, is something like this. This is all metal. Even these sides appear to be metal, but yeah. So I think this quote was around $15,000
Per sign?
per sign. Yep. I don't know if that includes install.
I think that might just be, if that's all metal and it's a custom cut, I would assume that would just be the sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll double check on that, but I think this is getting closer to kind of like what I envisioned, but I think, did I send you guys all that picture of what Drig's sign looks like, their welcome sign? It kind of has, instead of these being metal, they're more of a, like a old timber, so it's wood on the sign.
They're cool.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, so,
We do have one more person interested in providing.
we
a
do?
bid.
Okay.
Who is local?
That sounds great.
Jonathan will take the bid. From the Bear Man.
Mm.
He does all the bear carvings.
Oh, cool.
He lives in Afton and he's interested,
Yeah,
and I bet his will be
okay.
working on.
Well, and because the project is expected to probably be over $35,000 in total, we're going to have to put it out for bid.
Yeah.
So it will require us to determine in advance what you want the sign to look like.
Right.
If we're awarded the grant and we proceed with it, we're going to have to determine, okay, what sign do we want, and then we're going to have to put it out, advertise for bids, so that it's state statute compliant.
Right.
So, yeah.
So we have to come up with a concept.
So
and
pretty much, yeah.
I think we'll probably come up with something that we can get, a good consistent bid on, but I think we're pretty close to this. Councilman Larson, did you kind of have some input on this, I'm sure, being on the Travel and Tourism Board? What are your thoughts?
I like long-term projects,
Yeah,
especially for our one large lump sum from the county.
yeah,
I was telling Monica and Melody, to me, I'm just one vote, but to me, this fits the bill.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like it. If it's possible, I don't know, it'd be more of a inter-discussion with employees and whatnot, but another thought was having the design work done, like the Alpine and the sign, and then, I don't know if our guys would be into cutting the pipe, if we chose that design, kind of give it a in-house pride.
cut the pipe, is that?
The posts,
Oh, right.
if we went with the metal piping for posts, just to kind of give it an in-house pride kind of thing of like, yeah, I don't know, if one of our employees wants to come back with his kids in a generation and say, yeah, I did that, it's still standing.
Yeah.
Right.
Might be cheaper too.
Whatever we do, I'd love for it to be like a community sort of project.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I think coming off of that, because I know that we had all talked about opening up the community, especially for the labor. My hesitation, although I think this project fits perfectly with the tourism board application, is just with the match. So my suggestion was going to be opening up to the community and having our match as a town be an in-kind labor as opposed to a 20% financial match. I still, as a town, want to make sure that we're coming together with our residents. I just feel like at this point in time, especially with our economy, I haven't grasped our new budget. I know we're going to be working on that for this month. I want to make sure that our residents understand we're prioritizing these projects, but we're certainly prioritizing the budget. So I think until I have a better idea of what we're looking at, running expenses, that would be my suggestion.
Well, all we're doing right now is approving the town to apply
Match.
for a grant with the tourism board, and then our match will be determined on how much they give us. And then we can decide if we want to spend that money, not spend that money, have the town people involved.
Right.
You know, we make all those decisions later.
And the
But with the
match,
match right now, we do make that decision, correct?
Well, we
A
decide if we're
percentage-wise.
going to, if we will
Right.
agree to a match.
Okay.
and the match is not mandatory,
Right, but it's
highly-
nice. Yes, suggested.
looked
Did
favorable.
did you guys discuss, do you have any, what is an appropriate match? I mean, I just picked a number. It
No, no.
really wasn't any science
I
to
mean,
it.
20% is an appropriate match.
Okay.
Not, again, not mandatory, but just look more favorable.
Yeah.
I would guess, again, I'm one board member of 3, that this year will be more lenient because of the lump sum
Right.
from the,
Right,
yeah.
okay. Because we still have 3 other projects that we're putting forward as well, so I want to keep those matches in mind, should they be approved.
Yeah, it's hard to do a in-kind match on, say, the music. I mean, a
Oh,
lot of people.
my suggestion was only for the welcome sign.
Yeah,
I think if the rest of the council is comfortable with that percentage on some of the smaller projects, and I know for the information center, while we gather more information on how that's being utilized, if we could shunt that over to the tourism board, then we could offset the cost that we're paying right now. So that would be a savings in that respect.
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep. Yes, please. Do you mind coming up to the podium? Thanks.
Please turn on the mic too, dear.
Right there? That one. Question, is that the copy that was decided on for the sign? Do you know, or is that just mocked up?
I think it was just for estimation. purposes.
Yeah.
okay.
Understanding that?
No decisions have been made.
Oh, okay, because the only thing I would suggest is because Alpine was actually founded, I believe, in 1907, to either add that, because I think to 1907 sounds really cool, because it shows the history of the town, and you can either add that to the incorporated or in lieu of incorporated.
So the town was actually incorporated in 1989. So,
I like her idea though.
but Alpine is a region, not a town, from 1907.
Yeah, it was called Alpine Junction.
It's kind of like Jackson and Jackson Hole, in a
Well,
way.
it was technically Alpine Junction. There was just there were 2 highways. So,
But yeah.
Good suggestion. I like that.
Maybe settled would be an appropriate word.
that.
Settled in
like that.
It was
1907.
probably settled a lot earlier than that.
It has
So Jim, will you can you find that out for us?
I do, I like that.
think you could put like
I do like the history. Right.
established,
Established.
incorporated.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Council. I was just wondering, I know you're looking, that you have grant money, okay, for part of this, but with the fiscal budget, was anything appropriated to signage? Or is this a different bucket that you're gonna pull out of?
So this,
Nothing has been appropriated yet. We are in the budget season right now, so I would think that any match would be budgeted in the next fiscal year.
Next fiscal year, not this.
Correct.
Oh, I got you, okay.
Yeah, the travel and tourism grants are not, their fiscal year, so the year that we'd be eligible to even recoup any of the money wouldn't start until after July
Yeah.
1, and that's when our next fiscal year is. So whatever their decision is today and the numbers that come up, these numbers will then flow back into the budget that we're developing now.
Oh, okay. Now, would that come out of like the general fund? Like
This, yes,
a line item out of that?
yes.
Correct.
Yes, and just since you're interested in the budget, we are starting our budget workshops tomorrow at 4 o'clock, the next 3 Wednesdays at 4 o'clock. You're welcome to sit in on them if you're interested. Yeah,
That's a great question. Thank you.
yes, thank you.
In an effort to keep this moving forward, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion for approval of Resolution 2024-004, the Town of Alpine Welcome Sign Project.
We have a motion.
Second.
It's been seconded. Any further discussion?
How does everybody else feel about the match? I'm comfortable with it.
I'm totally
Me,
comfortable with it.
yep.
Yep. To me, that's something that, I would say that it's needed for sure. And this gives us kind of something nice when people are coming into town. And I'm sure we could find, if it's upwards of $12,000, I'm sure we could find $12,000 in the budget for that, for something that's gonna be here for a really long time, as Councilman Larson mentioned. But,
I love the project. I just have hesitations about committing that amount of money, especially if we have other match approvals. I'm thinking positively that we would get everything approved. So,
We could structure this to say that the 20% match will be either in-kind donations or cash. And that gives us some time, Emily, to maybe come up with, can we get somebody to donate something? Maybe there's somebody out there who'd be willing to support this with a financial donation.
yeah.
So we have a little bit of
I've
time
got some
to, I think,
options.
like, put that together.
Yeah.
So, and then work from there. I don't know if that would help. We can word it both,
Okay.
to do either or. And I think we'll put our heads together and we'll figure it out, how to keep what we actually spend out of
Right.
pocket low.
do you have a suggestion how we could change?
The wording for
The
the
wording?
current resolution.
Because it says right now, town match, $12,000 for 20%.
I guess we could add the wording, which can be fulfilled with in-kind donations of labor,
It could be really, you could make it very simple.
currency, or, right.
Jim, do you have a suggestion on how we could just word that so it says, the match can come from donations,
Okay.
Matching funds can come from private donations.
which could be in the form, obviously, of like
labor
labor
or-
or
okay.
whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
either in species or in kind.
Okay.
There you
Did you get that?
What was that?
go. Species or
Where's my?
Spell it.
species
Species.
As in the
means money.
Ah, I didn't know that. I learned something.
where's all of our pens out
I
here,
know.
Monica?
I usually have one.
You know what? I didn't even bring a pen out today, so I had to steal one from over there. Emily and I were talking budget, and I didn't grab a pen. Okay.
Okay, so, do you
Okay,
have an
so
amendment?
Can you say that again?
Yes.
Which can be
So moved.
fulfilled?
We
Yes.
haven't got it out there yet, have we?
Species and in kind.
Yeah.
So moved.
Does that make sense?
Yes, the amendment will say, be in addition to, the end of the line that says Town of Alpine Match $12,000 or 20%. And we will add, which can be fulfilled in species or in kind. Do we have a second?
So second.
We have a, motion has been seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the said amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Abstain.
Okay. So back to the original,
Can you tell me who made the actual motion just now? The
Um,
amendment? Frank?
Frank made the motion.
And Emily seconded.
I seconded.
Okay. Thank you.
And Jeremy did not, he did not vote since he's
Yeah.
on the board. Okay,
Okay.
are you fine with everything else?
Yep, I'm good.
Well, you
I'm a
two.
little
but I
bit
meant-
better.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
will find donations.
I thought you were asking me if
I will
if I
find
was good
people.
with my minutes here.
Okay, are you good
Okay.
with your minutes?
I am.
Thanks,
Okay.
Monica.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor of resolution 2024-04, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Resolution passed. Okay, moving down the list here, the travel and tourism for the, this is for the music in the, what do we call it? Town of Alpine Music in the Mountains Summer Series. Huge success last summer, and it was all due to Shay Scafidi. She did 99% of the work on that. I think we're gonna have just a couple questions here, but should we get something on the table here?
Make a motion seeking approval for resolution 2024-8, Town of Alpine Music in the Mountains Summer Series funding.
We have a motion, it's been seconded. Discussion. A couple of the things that, I saw your budget,
Yeah, and that's very tentative.
so
It's
on the right, are
Yeah.
these the
So-
dates that you have?
Well, okay, so I found out from Crystal Asno, who runs the farmer's market, the first one is the last week of June. And then, I have to apologize, I want to say it goes through September 15th. I have to confirm that again.
Okay.
Honestly, I threw those dates on there because what I guess I kind of want to see what will happen is, if we did get sponsorships, either we keep it to 5 or 6 bands, or we add to
A couple dates.
the
here and
dates,
there.
yeah. So really, when you do look at my budget, I have 8 bands listed there. Not all 8 are booked. I'm waiting for responses from everybody of what their Thursdays look like, but I at least wanted to start with a tentative budget, and then as sponsorships come in, we can minus off of that. So that's the beginning point. But yes, as far as dates, I kind of threw out the ones that I thought worked well, that we skipped the Lincoln County Fair or the Teton County Fair weeks. But if we did get enough money, then we could add those
Yeah.
weeks.
That would be my only comment, excuse me, comment about last year is that the one night that we were kind of fighting with Lincoln County Fair, it was so much fun, but it just wasn't as well attended
It
as
is.
I would have liked.
Okay.
But yeah, if we decide we, just wanna, I mean, heck, we could,
I know.
we could have the music, just someone
Oh,
play
yeah.
music or something if we wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
So-
I mean, I think,
Yeah, that's
okay,
true.
so that's the other option, is I have talked to a karaoke and DJ
Yeah, I love
and a
it.
couple local gentlemen that just want to strum a guitar
Yeah.
on some nights. So we were trying to think if we offset some of those weeks, very low budget,
Yeah.
in the sense of it wouldn't be a huge line item, but it could keep entertainment going through the entire summer. So I'm working on those numbers right now. And then Andrea, I will keep you posted, because I did speak to Dave Walters today, and there may be bands in town on July 4th. That's probably not part of this grant, but special events, we could chat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but please ask away. Again, I feel like we're early enough. The hardest part is really getting bands to commit right now for summer dates. But I've emailed everyone, and I'm hoping to just kind of prod as much as I can to get it dialed in. Because I would like to get posters finalized, I'm going to say by May 1, so that we could reach out on the town Facebook page to see if there's sponsors. Like right now, it looks like I may have Osprey. Osprey Beverage would love to sponsor, so that's a pretty
did
big
talk
one.
to 'em? Awesome.
Yeah, so that sounds like a great one, and then we'll just kind of go from there,
That's great.
so.
Quick question, is the 3,000 for the sound tax, is that every
No,
week? Or that's
I apologize, that's the six-week total.
Okay.
So if we did a 6-week series,
Yeah.
it would roughly be 3,200 for sound and lights. Then sound techs are roughly 500 a week.
Yep.
And then I've got kind of the breakdown of the bands.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. I would like to see some flexibility in this too, and that's why I think we have the 20,000 in there, and then any sponsors
Yes,
that come
that
in.
we would take off of that,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions for Shay or anything else?
Just a random suggestion.
Yes.
We should definitely put out some kind of donation boxes every
Okay.
time this year,
That's
because
a great
people were
suggestion.
asking like,
Yeah.
how do I donate? And-
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
which is a good idea.
Yeah. So I think if we put something out,
Okay.
people would put some money in.
Okay. And then the other thing, and this will be a sidebar, I won't take too much time, but real quick, I would like to figure out how Driggs does their token system, because I would like to dial in who's allowed to sell beer and wine, can we do a catering if they're tips trained, but that will be a whole conversation I'll do later on. Because I would like, if Osprey did want to have their whole beer
Right.
selection, how do we
How do we
do we facilitate it through the tavern, through their catering permit, or can we sell tokens?
So I actually just, and I can talk to Jim about this.
Okay.
I just recently, in helping somebody else with a event permit, read the ordinance, and how I read that ordinance is that you can sell alcohol with a 24-hour permit.
Yes,
That-
which I,
So it has been treated historically as though it has to be a donation. But when, I'll forward it to
Okay.
Jim, I'll forward the
appreciate
ordinance
it.
to Jim and have him read it, but I feel like anybody can be issued a 24-hour liquor license by the town of Alpine.
We've done it at Top of the Rockies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So that's my biggest thing, is because I don't know how many of the bars really want to be doing it.
Right.
And as far as, oops, sorry.
Yeah,
No,
that's
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as far as reaching out to Victor, so it's Grand Teton
Okay.
Brewing that
They handle, okay.
but I wouldn't, because that's Idaho. They're
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a
different laws
totally
than-
different.
than
I just wanted to bring up that we could maybe do a token system that also would just streamline it. And I'm not trying to make this a very heavy alcohol event, but I would just like to have it dialed in. And then it sounds like food trucks will be great. People want to come back. It was great for them. So I think we're good.
yeah. The only limitation, if it's hard liquor,
We do not want to go
but just
there.
saying,
Yeah.
that what you require
Yeah.
somebody to have a catering permit and a liquor license.
We usually
But
just get
A flask.
malt beverage.
the malt beverage
Yes.
permit though allows
That's-
beer and
that's
wine
easy. Okay.
and wine coolers, so.
And we've had a suggestion from the public that you could do a QR code for donations.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Hang up some signs with the QR code, and everybody has a phone, not everybody has cash
I
in
missed
their
that, what was that?
Oh,
A QR code.
QR code.
We'll
for
create a Venmo account. Just kidding.
Oh, it's great.
No,
Like, I'll
actually,
let
The
you
town
know.
of Alpine does have a
Yours?
PayPal account,
Pathways.
Oh,
and it's only used for Mountain Days. But we do have a PayPal
fine.
account for
I
Mountain Days.
will,
Okay.
I will say
That
real
would work
quick,
out perfectly.
with my experience in the beverage industry, that as the distributor, they may not want to be in charge of
no, I don't think they
taking in.
do.
Yeah.
No, I
Okay.
agree with that.
So we still need to find a vendor
Someone
that
who will.
can take on those weeks, which last year, thankfully,
Yeah.
the tavern took half of them and Melvin took half, or the tavern took more than half.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we just, maybe we'll get a couple more people that are interested in being the vendor
Yeah.
for that week. I think that would be nice for a restaurant or whomever.
Yeah, and they have to get their permit, so I want to really dial in the dates so they quickly can do the entire summer and not
That'd be great.
stress about it,
Yeah,
so. All right,
sounds good. Thanks, Shay.
Thank you, Shay.
Thanks, Shay.
So now we just have to talk about, we still have to determine a match, is that correct? What decisions need to be made with this resolution?
Oh, were we asking for a match? Is that, like, is every grant application?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean,
It has been
if you have your
suggested.
Osprey, it looks like you have your match.
I know. I mean, I think once the word is out,
Yeah,
we'll get more.
Yeah.
I really think we can offset a larger portion.
that's my feeling.
I
of
guess
it,
what
too.
I would say, and I don't know how everyone feels, but I think the town of Alpine, we should do something similar that we did on the last one, where we say, you know, we'll basically guarantee a match of 20%. It looks good for our application. And then those match dollars could come in the form of donations or sponsorships or whatever. But at least on our application to the Travel and Tourism Board,
We're still
they,
committing.
yeah, they know that we're, if whatever happens, they know that we'll still
We
put
could
in the
say-
20% match.
Yeah, we could say something like 20% match if donations not collected to cover that amount.
Okay.
The town will cover it.
That sounds like a great amendment to
like
this.
that
Would you like to offer that up as an amendment?
Motion to amend resolution 2024-008 in regards to the match. Town of Alpine will provide a 20% match if necessary, depending on adequate donations not being collected.
Second.
We have a motion of amendment, and it's been seconded. Any discussion? I like that.
Thank you.
Well, I hope that we don't take too much of your time, because I know you worked your butt off getting donations last year. So do not feel pressure. I think her idea is great. I think we'll get a lot of people donating.
I think we will. Everybody was so very pleased with it last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Right.
All right, so we have an amendment on the table. It's been seconded. Any further discussion on the amendment? All those in favor of said amendment, say aye.
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 Abstain?
Back to the original resolution. Any other comments regarding this as support for the application for the Travel and Tourism Board? If there's no further discussion, all those in favor of resolution 2024-8 in support of the Town of Alpine submitting an application for the Alpine Tour and Travel and Tourism Board, say aye.
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 Abstain?
Resolution passes. Thank you for that. Moving down the list, Travel and Tourism for the Town of Alpine Information Center. Again, we have these same numbers keep popping up.
Yeah.
Yep. Do we have a motion to get it on the table?
We're making a motion seeking approval for resolution 2024-9, Town of Alpine Information Center support funding.
We have a motion,
Second.
and it's been seconded. Discussion.
What do we need to know about this, Monica? Anything?
No, it just covers,
So this is for Dawn, right?
80% of the salary and benefits. So the benefits, you know, for the town, for all government they're a huge consideration. So they raise the amount of the budget dramatically.
Right.
So, yeah. So I just looked at what the annual was, including the cost of our portion of payroll taxes, health insurance, retirement,
Okay.
all of that. So, and just made it an even number. Rounded it up to an even number. So, yeah.
Well, and I know we've had her dedicating the majority of her time there, so my hope is that now that we've had it, we can start looking at how to make improvements and just assessing. So I think we'll have more information now moving forward.
Yeah.
I think we had somebody that was dedicated all
Yeah.
those hours before.
Yeah.
She's also taking on many more tasks than we ever, you know, she's not just doing information center.
Right.
So that's why I think we are definitely obliged, we need to support
Yeah, she takes care of all the Civic Center rentals now,
All the bookings, all the,
and all of that, and does a lot of that legwork with, the people who are renting it. So, yeah, it's been nice to have her step in that role.
and
So,
she's literally mopping the floors before,
yes,
pickleball on the weekends.
Oh my
She does it on
gosh.
Fridays, so,
Yeah, if there's an avenue that we could potentially cover her cost.
no, I've got one thing. One question I have though, this is kind of a big ticket item for the
Yes.
Travel and Tourism Board. I mean, I can't imagine, we're not gonna have money like this in the future. So
And
what
that's
do we
up-
do going forward?
we're gonna have to figure that out.
We're gonna have to move on from that.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, it is a big expense. And so one of the things that Dawn and I have been working on in the background is, for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, our new website went live. And so in the corner, you'll see there is, and it's similar to that sign. I think that sign's based on that, correct? That you liked?
Yeah,
And so that design in the corner, we actually have some T-shirts, that samples that we've gotten. It looks great on it. And so we're going to try to find a way to create some revenue streams over the next year. And then if we get this grant, then, I mean, we'll have to look at it.
Right.
What the expectation is, and I think, interact with the Travel and Tourism Board, see what they can do ongoing. I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy, I don't want to speak for you, but I think that this was some of the information center, the visitor centers, some of the driving force behind the creation of the Travel and Tourism Board. They understood the need to be able to provide this for information to people visiting, and I'm telling you, when it was over here,
they
like-
were in here all the time.
oh,
People-
random people all the time. We met the coolest people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is something that there's people who every time they drive through Alpine, they stop. And even when it was here, they were lovely. So yeah, so I think that we have to find a way though to create some revenue streams from that as well.
It won't be much, but it's something just to offset.
To offset
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay.
Huh?
T-shirts,
Yeah, T-shirts and hats.
outline, it's not wrong, it's just different.
Yeah, T-shirts, sweatshirts, and hats.
We're gonna count on you to get this.
So we had asked a year ago to ask how many people actually go in. Has that still not been provided?
There is one.
Okay, so.
I haven't seen it. I asked for it for the grant application though.
Okay.
Everybody is tracked. Everything that is sold over there and every person that walks in the door is tracked. And there for a period of a couple months, she tracked everything she did in a logbook that is separate from
Right.
the visitor
Because it
center.
would just, I think the value is if you almost would like to see what are your busiest months? Does it stay open
Yes.
all year? Is it part-time in the winter?
Yeah.
Because there's half
Yeah.
the people coming in. I think those would be the things, if you were looking for longevity, that
Yeah.
that could be.
We will have that data going
That would be
forward.
with the grant application?
Yeah, I hope
that's
we
requested.
have, I don't think we're gonna have 12 months of data for that, but we should have a good, I think it's gonna be, what, about, not quite
At
6
least
months?
the high season.
Yeah.
I feel like we should have now.
But
Well,
the
she was still
logbook
over here
started when
during
she
the
moved
summer.
over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
That didn't start until the fall, pretty much, where she started taking, she
By
was back
herself.
over there, yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, I think in the future, we will be able to say, yes, in the winter, we have a tenth of the people that
Right.
are coming in,
Right.
we need to kind of reevaluate at that point, but,
Just because I hear from some people that look at the food bank that a lot of those pamphlets are just in the trash. And so I think I'm just like.
No.
I'm hoping we can kind of go in the phase of like electronic and how do we shift to like apps versus paper?
Right.
I don't know, things like that.
Right.
well,
and so
Yeah.
well, you wouldn't be aware of this because you haven't been part of the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
So, one of the things that we talked about early on, but as you know, we've been going through this software conversion. So it's kind of been very stressful, limited time. You would think in the winter would have been a good time to be out. Next winter, I'll be able to help focus on Dawn. But one of the things that I want to see is I actually want to have some QR codes. So I want to create some signage where people can find what they want through a QR code, and it'll take them to the pin. And so that was one of my, because that's how I operate. I mean, I use Google for everything, or, you know, or maps, you know, I'm not because if I take paper, you're right, it goes in the trash. So it is something that we're going to work on, but I just haven't had the time to really
Well,
focus
and the other
on
thing is, this website, now, it's taken us basically a year to
that. It has.
And so there's so many different things that we can add on to this, like you're talking about, the scheduling, things like that. It's like adding a module to the system.
Right.
So we're going to have to evaluate that definitely during the budget season and make sure it's something that we want to do. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that we can add on to the website that can do exactly what Shay's suggesting.
Yeah.
So eventually we may get there, but we'll take small steps for now. But anyways, I don't know if we need any more discussion. Is there any other questions or anything that anyone has regarding this? Let me go back to my cheat sheet here. Is there any other discussion? Everyone's good? Okay, since there's no further discussion, all those in favor of Resolution 2024-9, the governing body of the town of Alpine submitting an application for the Alpine Travel and Tourism Board on behalf of the town of Alpine, say aye.
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 Abstain.
Resolution passes. Okay, one more. Winter Jubilee. This one's a pretty quick one. Can we get a,
Make a motion seeking approval for resolution 2024-10, Town of Alpine Winter Jubilee funding.
we have a motion
Second.
and it's been seconded. Discussion. Monica, can you give us some of the background on this that I think Melody was working on it for the most part?
Yeah, and she was, so this year we didn't do fireworks because of budgetary constraints, because when Mayor Green came on, we found out that where we were setting off fireworks was actually illegal. Where the town was, you're not allowed to set them off on the land where they were. And also, we found out that YDOT didn't want us to set them off that close to the road either. And so that led down a path that none of us intended to have to shift where fireworks were set off. And also historically, the person who set off the fireworks, they submitted, the town of Alpine provided them with their insurance information to submit on the application. Our insurance probably would not cover that because we don't have events insurance. Our liability insurance, although they provided it to them, if there was something that happened, there probably would be zero coverage. So the person who does it has to have insurance to set them off. They have to be permitted properly to do that, which clearly increased cost. It dramatically increased 4th of July costs. So because of what that budget was, town council made the decision not to do fireworks in the winter because it would have been triple the cost that it used to be.
It's also difficult because last year, you may remember, they got canceled because it
Of the
was in the
snow.
middle of a snowstorm.
Yeah, this year the weather was better.
Yeah, we probably could have done it this year, but I
But-
think what they're suggesting is go away from fireworks
Yes.
and go to, what is it, a fire
Fire
dancers, that's what
Fire
it is.
dancer, fire and ice dancers.
So I will tell you,
Yes,
many people are disappointed that we didn't have fireworks. They really look forward to it. But when I explained, like, this is a fundraiser for scholarships and fireworks are very expensive, then, you know, it's more understandable. But we figured we could bring in the fire dancers at a lower cost and still provide some great entertainment to break up the winter. The fire dancers are in Lava Hot Springs, just a hop, skip, and a jump away. And they are pretty reasonable, and they are excited to support our community event
Yeah.
as well.
And just as an update for the Jubilee, we had an amazing turnout, and we raised, what was it, north of $7,000 for scholarships. So hugely successful, and I definitely agree. $5,000 for fireworks, although they're great, I would personally rather see that money go towards
And I believe
scholarships.
also, Andrea, they want to, there's some changes coming to the ice sculpture.
Maybe
We're gonna
do, yeah,
try
bring
to-
somebody to do ice.
Yeah.
Try to make that better.
And that will, yeah, that would be part of what this funding would help cover. We've been talking to Lexi Weber, who's the executive director of the Star Valley Arts Council, and she has some ideas. She's looking for artists to come in, and she's willing to help us kind of improve our snow sculpture.
It's kind of
Yeah.
what Driggs does, right?
Yeah.
They have an amazing, I would love to
That's
copy what they do over there.
amazing.
Now, of course, this year, we had no snow.
Right.
So that was a
Also,
problem
not
for that.
having,
Yeah,
also not having the snow sculptures was very disappointing to the community because everybody looks forward to it due to multiple factors, including there was no snow, and then there was too much snow, and then it was too warm.
Yeah.
We didn't do them this year, but we're really hoping to bring it back next year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Better than ever, so. And $10,000 is a number that you guys came up with that we could
Yeah.
cover
I
our,
think we could do both things with that, the
Yeah.
fire dancers and the snow sculptures.
Okay.
Could work it out.
you know what also might be good is to add a line that says, I don't know if you can do it, but anything not used out of the $10,000 goes towards the scholarships. Can we do something like that legally?
Yeah, or we, yeah.
We can't donate money.
Okay.
Oh, so, but we could roll it over to the next year.
Next year, okay, and then that'll offset any future, okay.
Yeah.
We don't need to put that in there, I think.
Right, because this will be
We have to
reoccurring.
look at it, because it's a reimbursement.
Oh, okay.
And over cash.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, whatever they,
Whatever we
spend.
spend, we get reimbursed.
he'll,
Okay.
they'll give us 80%. If they approve it, they'll give us 80%. But we will have already spent the money up front and then get
Right.
reimbursed.
Yeah,
Yeah, just like any
yeah,
grant.
okay,
Okay.
perfect. So our budget could be
Be
more
less.
if we wanted. It could be more, it could be less, but we'll figure out. This is just for the application for the tourism and travel board, travel and tourism board.
Going into the, when we do have the first meeting, if you can get a guesstimate on just the ice sculpture,
Oh, separating them? Okay.
that would be good. Just do a little dancing of my own of,
The sky's the
Where we
limit
can
on that.
cover
It's the
everything.
problem. Like,
Yeah.
I think,
We have a quote from the fire dancers, and then we can kind of talk to Lexi a little bit.
guesstimate on the, I
be
know
considered
that,
an art form?
Yeah,
Sure.
it's,
yeah.
well, the way, have you seen what Driggs does?
Well, yeah, on the ice sculptures, I mean,
Yeah.
the fire dancers.
Oh, the
Oh,
fire
for sure.
dancers?
Oh, yeah, that's art.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heck yeah,
that's what I
Performing
call it.
art, Jeremy.
It's a performing art, yeah.
Yeah,
It's way cool.
yeah, okay.
Anyways, any further discussion? All those in favor of resolution 2024-10, say aye.
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 Abstain.
Resolution passes. Madam Clerk, we don't have any tabled items, do we?
No, I think, I missed that was on that. When Sarah did it,
No, it's
I
okay.
corrected it.
Yeah, they're-
Missed it completely, so I
Just-
apologize.
You never know, sometimes. I don't think we have any other business. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion, it's been seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll adjourn for a 3-minute break, bio break, anyone that needs to use the restroom.
A bio break.
That's what they call it.
Turn off your,
You can turn off your. Turn on your microphones. I'll call this work session to order. This is work session for March 5th, 2024. And we have a few items we wanted to discuss, and the first one happens to be the Land Use Development Code in Dan Scow. What do you have for us today, Dan?
All right, I was told that I have to speak clearly into,
Oh, yeah?
into this microphone.
We're all
So,
trying to do that. Thank you.
From the last meeting, Jim was so kind to give us the interpretation that no adverbs in the law. So we took all of those out. We took all those out, and on the sheet that you have in front of you, you have the revised.
but the way these work is it has to be It only picks up this way.
So I have to talk like that?
No, they'll still hear you.
Thank you.
If you were off to the side, though, it doesn't hear you.
Anyway, so we have the revised recommendation where it says no development in the established setback area is allowed. Jim wanted us to put it in the definitions. We don't agree. We believe that it should be in the R1, R2, and MRC, areas of the LUDCs, because those are the areas that are specifically talking about setbacks.
Right.
So that is number one.
I have a question on that.
Yes, go ahead.
All right, very good. What is development?
The definition of development.
Yeah, because let's say I have a setback here, okay? My phone's my house and the setback goes to the Mountain Dew bottle, okay? Can I put grass there? Can I put a tree there? Is that development? What if I have a sidewalk going down there?
That's a good point.
Your driveway, and that's part of what you asked us to take out, was descripting all of those items.
So that's what I'm saying, is there's gotta be something that defines something there. So if you had in the definitions, development means, or development as it pertains to setbacks means.
Structure, not landscaping,
Yeah,
landscaping.
any structure.
Right.
Or paved road.
All those adverbs we took out?
Well, but
That's,
structure is not an adverb.
no, but it stated that all in that paragraph.
Right, but here's my problem, and why I want you to see what I'm looking at, is I have to enforce that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I bring it into the judge, and it usually comes in a complaint, and I write this complaint, and I say they have violated this ordinance by putting development within, according to the law that's written, within the setback. Well, what's development? You see what I'm saying?
I totally hear you, Jim.
So, I mean, if it's just a situation where you have a structure, a building structure encroaching into that setback, very easily defined.
That's actually defined other places in the land use development code. I mean, it talks specifically about
About
you can't put a
encroachment.
structure
Okay.
in the, but I think what we're going for here is it more driveways or is it?
It's all. It's, the only thing that can happen inside that setback is landscaping.
Okay, so why don't we?
That's what
Can
we
we
should
just
put in
say
there.
There you
that?
go.
All right, so I'll let you guys make that motion and let her
Well,
rip.
I guess.
Well, we won't be doing that today since
Yeah.
just,
So landscaping, that, I mean, does that mean I can plant big trees? Does that
Yes.
mean I can plant a mound that goes high as long as there's grass and?
We're working on that.
Shrubbery on that?
We're working on that part of the code next.
put a 12-foot berm in.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the fad right now through all the valleys. Everybody's throwing in their berms.
Actually, you could bring 250,000 cubic yards of dirt and put your house on top of it. There's nothing in your LUDCs that says you can't.
That'd be
Start tomorrow.
sweet.
Wow.
Other than
You'll
if
drum
it's
out.
taller than 35 feet.
No,
It doesn't say that.
doesn't say where you're gonna take that spot from. And so we are gonna define that for you.
We better update that before.
We're gonna
someone
define-
They're
excavates.
catching all
Well, I
of
think
this.
if I win the lottery, I'm gonna do that.
And it's gonna be pink.
We want you to put, so these are great suggestions. I think we need to just clarify that, maybe just
The firm
next
definition.
time you guys.
That's fine.
read
And the other one here
Yep.
is, we took the language, that extra sentence out of the adoption of the energy code,
Right.
Oh, okay.
which we think it's really important. I mean, we're moving into the 25th century. It's an important part of construction and development.
Which sentence did you take out?
It was a double sentence in there.
Oh, that's the one okay. Yes, perfect.
Please.
I'm sorry to be the.
No, please, you need to.
Well, I was going to.
What were you going to?
Well, I mean, just for me, so that energy code, and I'm all for energy, but where I'm curious is, and I kind of put this forward, is like, who are we to put this on people as an energy code, as opposed to me, is this a little more of a heavy-handed government?
No.
I mean, trust me, I want it to be more energy and efficient, but also, I don't want Big Brother looking into my backyard going, what kind of windows are those? What kind of, what do you got going on there?
Kind of stove you got.
And it's,
Yeah.
It's in the design development of any project that's coming on board. So it's not like we're gonna be able to come into anybody's house and say, these windows don't apply. It is, if you're gonna come in and for a building permit,
Right.
you're gonna have to update your structure to an energy code that meets certain standards, certain building criteria. It's insulation, it's building products, but most of the time, it's really in the design and development piece. Because there's a lot of systems that have come out now in the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 years that have greater efficiency to how we build. And that's it. But it reduces that cost of energy input.
Right.
That's all
Does
we're
it
looking.
Also create a higher barrier to entry for someone to come into the
Cost.
town.
Well, it says provisions that do not unnecessarily increase construction
what
costs.
does that mean? I
Right.
mean,
Right.
I guess the thing of it is before, I appreciate you, what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
So,
no, I definitely do.
You're doing this, but before we go into, first of all, has anybody read the Energy Development Code?
No.
Maybe we should do that before all of it. Number 2 is how much is that going to add, those changes? Do we have some sort of finding before we enact legislation that says this is going to add this much per square foot burden onto the cost of a home? I mean, if I choose to be energy efficient, that's one thing. But if I'm choosing to build and I decide, okay, do I go and I build in Alpine, or do I just build
I'm out on the-
out in the county? You know, because I don't have to comply with that. And maybe the long-term cost of having it energy efficient is not gonna offset the actual cost of building. And I just, that's some of the information that, I mean, before we go saying, hey, yeah, that's a great idea, and passing it, and then finding that, you know, it adds $50 a square foot, and you're not gonna recover that in 25
savings,
years in energy savings, then why do we wanna do that?
Right. Or if whatever it costs, I can't afford to come into Alpine, but I can't afford to live in Thane, but yet I still have to commute because I happen to work in Afton. So now I'm creating energy by back and forth with my energy less efficient house. I mean, that's where I kind of like, what does it mean? But admittedly, I have not read the International Energy Code. I may read it and I go, well, hot damn, this is the best thing since sliced bread.
Are there other municipalities in the area or in the state of Wyoming that you know of that are requiring this? Other than Teton County?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
do they even require it?
Yeah, Sun Valley, all the way across California, Washington, Oregon. I mean, you're talking Idaho, I mean, it's all over.
Does Teton County
Yeah.
require it? Does the town of
It's-
Jackson require it?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's not for the builders. We're just the applicators.
Right.
It's all in the design and development, because there's ways of how you're putting your windows, where you're putting your windows.
Right.
Are
If
you
you know
putting
you
your
need
windows on
this,
the solar
you
gain,
need
or are you
this.
on the leeward side?
Right.
It's how you design and construct that home. It's not there to create costs. It's there to take all of the data that they've brought in over the years to say, we're just gonna simplify it. If you're gonna have southern windows, you're gonna have one window on your north side, you're gonna have, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna gain a lot of solar gain that reduces the heat.
Right.
That's all, it's just, it's design and development more so. But there are some things, new building wraps, how we insulate, you know, you've already adopted a res check that needs to be provided on every plan that comes through. That's not R19. They're up to almost R28 in walls. There are 67 in ceilings, not R38. It's twice as much. So it's not just, if you think that this is going to do it, the code itself does it for you. The res check formula created more money that had to go into a house than anything like this will happen. It's just in design development, creating new efficient products, new ways to absorb heat, distribute heat. And I mean, we don't air condition much here because we open our windows, but you know, that there's talk about that in that code. So, you know,
I guess, is there some like, I don't know, white papers or something that says how this affects building costs and things like that, that? I don't know.
it's really, it's not, it's just, it's how we design.
But has anyone done a study on how that affects?
Yeah, I mean, the code is very clear. I mean, it says that this is not about increasing costs, and sometimes it's reduced costs.
Okay,
Right.
we need to read that.
Well, and I guess, and I appreciate that, but maybe here's something to throw it out. If you have somebody who brings in a design and it complies with, I mean, you could say, we suggest that you follow this, and if it complies that, why don't we reduce their building permit cost by a little bit to incentivize it, rather than, I mean, so I have a choice. It's not mandatory, but we'll reduce your building permit cost.
Write that down.
That's
Write that down, that's a good one.
very good.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, you know, we're gonna be talking about fees, and
Yeah.
that'll be another one piece that comes in. The cost piece, I wanna, you know, as somebody who's been in this business for a long time, the day Alpine property prices went over 200 grand per lot, the day of the skier bum who came here to build a cabin on that lot,
Probably has.
that's gone.
Yeah.
Those days, you know, we were happy to be there, and now they've gone past it. You know, it is Etna, or it is Smoot, or Grover, or wherever, but you only have X amount of property, and it's only gonna get tighter.
Yeah.
And if this annexation push happens, it's only gonna be harder for us, planning and zoning,
Right.
to keep a tab on that all.
Yeah.
So,
I think
That's-
it's a good suggestion. It's a great talking point. We need to do some more research. I appreciate you guys bringing it.
I'll buy the
Sure.
book, and Jim and I can go to lunch and we can read it together.
Jim does not want to go to.
You guys,
No, if you find some more documentation, just share it with us, whatever.
We'll do that.
We'll be happy to.
No, well, thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Really
thanks,
appreciate it.
Dan.
good job.
So
Put you on the hot seat.
he loves it. So the next thing that I wanted to bring up is so this is the special purpose tax. It's written on here as a 6-penny tax, but this is, again, the county and all the municipalities are going to be voting soon whether or not they want to put a special purpose tax on the ballot coming up this November. So currently, our county sales tax is 5%. This would add 1% sales tax. It's not adding 6%, it's adding 1%. And in the calculations that the county has done, not necessarily the county, the people that are bringing this forward to be voted on, think that it will generate, and let me clarify, this tax goes away as soon as it gets paid for, and it has to be voted on every 4 years if you want to do it. And 6 years ago, it did not pass by a narrow margin. And a lot of the feedback was it didn't pass because you have to bring forward projects. Each municipality is going to bring forward a project that this money funds. And the feedback was kind of last minute, the county put on equipment, like dump trucks and stuff like that, because they're like, well, we're going to generate $20 million, but we really have only brought forward $15 million. Like, let's put some more things on there, something like that. And so it was voted down. So this go around, what everyone's trying to focus on is bringing projects forward that will benefit the community, the towns, generate economic development, things of that nature. So that's a long way to get to. One of the things that came up was if Alpine had an outdoor ice rink similar to what Victor has, which is hugely successful, that it would bring in tons of economic development. I mean, people, we could have ice skating, hockey tournaments here. You could have all sorts of different events that would bring people and dollars to the town. And Lincoln County doesn't have anything like this. So I thought maybe that would be a good way to go. We would also be able, in the winter, this would be like a full-size NHL sort of hockey rink that has ice chillers underneath. So this year we tried to get our ice skating rink up and going, and it failed miserably because of the weather and also the underlayment that we had holes in it. So we'd put water on it and it just would go away. So we haven't had too many complaints about that, but we have received comments like, why don't you have the ice skating rink up this year? So this would be, it's an outdoor rink that has, it's a metal building. Essentially, this is what Victor has, and I can bring up, yeah. It would be down there someplace, down by the ball field someplace. So this is, and you can get this directly from the Teton Valley Foundation website, but Kotler Ice Arena, and this is kind of a picture of it, not a great picture.
There's better ones
Yeah.
further down.
But this is an economic contribution study that they did last year. And it's quite long, and I encourage everyone that's interested to figure out, how much money goes into it and how much they have tried to calculate what the economic development is for the area. And I won't bore you going through it, but they've done a very good job of highlighting the benefit of what that brings to their valley, Teton Valley over in Idaho. So this doesn't really have seating other than there's some bleachers. They're trying to do an expansion because they don't have seating. They don't have all these things. When they started, they didn't have locker rooms. They didn't have any of these things. So my suggestion is if we can just get the building and the ice chillers and we can put it in concrete, then we actually have a 4-season building because we could use it for concerts in the summer. We could have it taped out for pickleball, Shay, in the summer. I mean, you could have you could do anything with this outdoor. You could rent it out for weddings, church services on the weekends, anything.
Yeah, more year round.
Definitely. It's an outdoor, yeah. I think concerts and things of that nature would just be great. And farmer's market could eventually move down there. It could be more of a swap meet or something, whatever you call them, flea market. So
You'd be out of the rain.
you're out of the rain, out of the elements. So I think it's a huge potential. Rough numbers. I've met with Ari Kotler, who is the whole building is named after. He's just he floats the river in the summer, and he had this great idea, and they brought everyone together. Well, they have bootstrapped this thing as far as it can go, and now they're going to start trying to raise money to expand and everything.
Okay.
So the long and short of it is, the building itself is about, a metal building is about $750,000. To have someone put it up is probably $250,000. So the building itself is gonna be $1 million. The ice chillers, the ice chillers alone is in the range of $1 million. These are just off the top of my head, you know, in the research I've done. And I'm getting bids on all this stuff. And then the concrete, to put the ice chillers in, you actually have to do 2 layers of concrete. One is warm and the other is cold, so you don't get frost heaves and everything. It just buckles your ice. So it's quite an extensive process, but so building's $1 million, the chillers are $1 million. And then the concrete is about $1 million. So you're looking at $3 million just to get you kind of up and going. But then, I think from there you can kind of expand it out. I don't know if that would necessarily cover like the locker rooms and things like that. They're kind of necessary if you're gonna have a hockey tournament here. So we need to dig into that, but
What's it cost to run it, like to operate it?
So it says, and this
It's
was
about
just taken from
$500,000, isn't
2 years' study.
yeah.
Revenues are $490,000, expenditures are $474,000. So they're covering it, of course, I'm sure that's dependent on years
The-
and how well it's attended.
The difference on this project would be the town of Alpine would own the building, own everything down there. I think we need to get, same sort of thing, a foundation or somebody, a group to run it. So,
Do they have a group that runs? it?
yes, the
That's
Teton
the
Valley
staff.
Foundation.
Okay.
So, when I was over there, in between each event, they had the Zamboni out and they were clearing the ice after every event. Because they went from kids hockey to ice skating, you know, and you have to have clean ice. So you have to have the Zamboni for one, which costs about $100,000. And then you have to have somebody that's gonna do it. But you're bringing it, I mean, a great example, I was there on a Friday and it was filled with kids. And it would be an awesome thing for people in this valley to have Friday, because they don't have school, you know, but once a month or something on Fridays, to have that filled with kids taking, you know, ice skating lessons and just getting them outside doing stuff. I think it'd be a huge, opportunity. So, but I think we need to find a foundation to run it. So, any thoughts on that?
So what are we looking at estimation wise? How expensive of a project can we send in to the
So.
county? Cause I
the-
thought they had said, look for something around 1.5 million.
No, there's been no numbers.
Oh, just percentage wise.
So
Okay.
Alpine has about 10% of the population of the county. And we need to get the exact numbers, but the people that live in unincorporated areas, they make up the biggest percentage of population in the county.
Right.
So we need to try to focus on them, because all these municipalities will bring forward projects. But no one's going to bring forward a project for the people that just live in the county. But in my opinion, this project benefits more people that live in the county than just in Alpine alone. You know, we have 1,200 residents in Lincoln, or in Star Valley. I mean, Shay, what do we have for population in Star Valley?
I thought it was like 25 or 30, but maybe I'm overestimating.
Yeah.
The whole county is
Depends
under
on winter
20.
or summer. Summertime, we get up to 19. Winter, it's like 12 to 14.
For the whole county?
No, no,
No,
Star
but
Valley.
Star Valley.
19,000?
That's what I meant,
Summertime.
Star Valley, yeah.
Because I think the whole county, the population in the whole county, according to the commissioners, is just around 20,000. So it must be year-round.
Yeah.
So we're in that range, but anyways, I personally think that even if we're, say it is 25,000 people and we're we're not 10% then we're only 5%. But, yes,
I think your biggest problem is having a piece of property big enough to do
we have it, it's down there, it's plain big, yeah.
None of those lots are big enough.
What are you talking about?
If you're gonna put it down by the ball field, they're not big enough. You need parking for at least 150 feet.
So I've actually drawn it out on AutoCAD, and I'd be more than happy to share it with you, but I put the building on it and all the parking, and, no, I'm putting everyone on the BOR and everything. But I think that, I don't know what other projects other municipalities are bringing forward.
No, it's a great.
So if we can, I think everyone wants to be conservative too. All the different municipalities want to be conservative because they don't, let's just say everyone together puts in projects that are worth $30 million and it only generates $25 million of tax, then the municipalities are on the hook for that shortfall. If, on the other hand, you go for 30 and within 3.5 years, it generates that $30 million, the tax goes away. I don't know officially how that works, but in the middle of the third year, you will notice that you're only paying 5% tax. So it's kind of interesting.
In 2018, we did this, and at least at that time, I can't remember the exact percentage, but roughly 50% of the sales tax that comes in to pay for any of these projects will actually be coming from the mines down south. So the actual sales tax from businesses within the county makes up roughly 50%. We'll just say 45 to 55, somewhere around there.
It's
Can't remember.
75%.
It's what?
It's 75%. It's in the.
It's now
data.
75%?
Yeah, so
that the mines cover?
75% of the tax, sales tax, comes from businesses. It's actually 74%.
From just, and then the 25% comes from the mines?
No, 25% from the residents,
25% from the residents,
Yep.
75 from all businesses?
all businesses, which
Gotcha,
includes the mines.
Gotcha, okay.
And eventually, if they get that nuclear plant down there and all that stuff, like,
Right.
we're gonna be flush
Yep.
with that.
And then, so we put in projects, so the project we put in was to redo Grays River Road, estimating at 2.1 million. That, according to the county's calculations at that time, our project would have been paid off within 3.5 to 3.75 year timeframe. And then, yeah, the county at that time just did not, they didn't have a project, and they put a project down, and they took it off, and it was pretty wishy-washy. At the last time, basically, you had 3,800 registered voters vote against. You had 3,100 registered voters vote for. So it was pretty narrow. It did pass in the town of Alpine. So if it were just done by municipalities, it would have passed, our project would have passed, because the voters in Alpine did vote for it.
And you're voting for every project from every municipality is going to be on the ballot.
It's
So-
an all or nothing deal.
Yeah.
You will see every project, you will see Opal's project, you will see Kemmer's project. So, from that standpoint, it's very transparent. But what I'm trying to do is get a feeling for whether this is a viable project that we want to bring forward, or if you think I'm crazy, we need to just do something else. This is the time to tell me.
Why is everybody looking at me?
I mean, have you thought about like an amphitheater down at the ball field?
So
Or
there's,
anything like that?
there's plans, and I shouldn't get in too deep, but there are plans from businesses that maybe do something like that down on the river's edge when they expand. But this essentially is an amphitheater from the standpoint that it's a venue that concerts could be. I mean, it's not going to be an amphitheater, but who knows? Maybe we end up putting, in the summer, we buy bleachers where you can have some seating or something like that. So I think the sky's the limit as far as what you can do there in the summer.
It's cool.
I think one of the big concerns is, much like with the very elusive rec center that's been discussed for years and years and years, you get the money to build it, and then how do you get the money to
It's
maintain it?
operating moving
And
forward,
yes,
it's
you can
operating.
find a foundation to run it, but where do you find that? And who's
Right.
gonna form it, and who's gonna get the money, and who's gonna, and that's the biggest holdup with everything. You get the money to build it, and then how do you run it forever? and
Yeah,
forever?
I don't want to have the town of Alpine be saddled with
No.
having to run
No,
this
it
thing.
would have to come from somewhere else.
So, but, go ahead.
The towns can't come together and do one project. So like.
Every other town has their own project.
Okay, so no one will work together to build something.
I don't know if we can.
Thane,
The way it
Thane
was
has their own,
explained.
project that they're
Yeah.
bringing forward, which sounds amazing. And
Well, they're actually building what is very similar to a county project as well. Or
yeah,
at
they
least
want to do an indoor recreation area that has
for their
pickleball
sports.
and soccer, and they can do
Yeah.
lots of different things.
And
So,
so they have a very small population, so I'm sure that cost that project's gonna be, but they have the draw for their sports
Right.
program, and
Yeah.
so,
it's justified, but their project is
Yeah.
gonna cost probably about the same amount
Yeah.
of what ours is, and their population is a quarter of what ours is.
So this thing costs almost 500,000 to run the ice park. Wow.
And
Yeah.
that's
Not
that's
even all
not
year
taking
round.
into account any improvements.
Oh,
I mean, they're asking.
I should also
for-
clarify, the ice chillers gives you a shoulder season, because obviously in the middle of the winter, we can, it'll be plain cold, but
You can run it from
if you were
spring,
going,
fall.
if you're going to have like hockey tournaments and things of that nature, if you don't have the chillers and you don't have a Zamboni, they ain't coming.
No,
So it's just too dangerous.
no, for
So-
sure.
Would this interfere with the school project or the purposing of the land of that building?
That's my question.
Were you looking at?
So, this project, and I normally have the GIS, pulled up. Let me see if I can pull it up quickly here. Is that the right one? Oh, wrong one. So, let's see how quickly I can get there.
Well, and with the parcels as well, we'd have to consider what type of school, because of course, each level of school has a different square footage requirement. So,
Because again, you're talking about the school, you're talking about parking, you know, the same as the project.
Yeah.
Mayor, that you.
yeah,
Yeah, so this, right here,
traffic flow.
identify, I just got rid of it. This right here, it's not gonna have the acres on it. I think it's, Councilman Larson, you would probably know, but this right here is part of where the school will go, and this over here is included in the calculation. I think it's like 17 acres,
Correct.
in that range, right?
Yeah, for both of those parcels.
Right.
Yep.
So, 17 acres is almost enough to get a high school on.
Almost.
So they recommend 20 for high school. Middle school is like 15. Elementary school is 10 or something in that range. So I think we have 10 here and we have 7 here
I
approximately.
want to say it's 9 and.
Somewhere in that range, right?
Yeah.
So this building, which is 200 by 85, that's actually, it'd be 120 by 220 building, basically sits like right here in my, just initial trying to find a place. And then there's parking kind of wrapped around the whole side like this. So that building and the parking could fit on this section. Now, it does bring up a whole nother discussion about, the ball field and what we're doing with that. It's probably the least utilized piece of grass in Lincoln County, but, I think we need to decide if we're, I know there's been,
Including that in the
yeah,
calculation.
Maybe the fairgrounds.
oh, yeah, this gets less. This definitely gets less.
I don't ever
That's a
see
great
anybody
question.
down there.
But I think this area here is obviously, it would be an amazing place. I can't imagine having a building that's open towards the north or towards the river, playing hockey or, it could be curling. I'd love to have a curling team or whatever. And just looking out over the water, I think it'd be an amazing landscape to bring people in too. If we were able to bring in hockey tournament or something, yeah, I think it could be referred to as.
Consider attaching it to the school and having, like, high school thing. You did talk about high school or.
Yeah, why not? I mean, this gives them a place to do it.
Have a hockey team with the school.
Absolutely. It'd be more like a club team or something, I would imagine, but maybe you can get funding through the county.
If you
Yeah.
had enough students who wanted to play,
Right.
you'd be a high school hockey team in the state of Wyoming.
It'd be amazing. Yeah.
Because, I mean, look at what Teton County, look at what Jackson did.
Yeah.
What they do up there with their hockey program and the way they utilize that rink, I mean, we would use a portion of what they use it for, but it would be amazing start.
I spent years in that.
Yeah, I'm sure there would be people that have hockey, kids in hockey up there, and they're driving all over the
Well,
region.
everybody's going to Jackson.
Yeah,
We're
and if we
missing
had,
out on all of that.
if we had something that,
It's easy to get people to.
Yeah, yeah,
But if you have hockey, I mean, ice, if you have ice, it's number one. And if you can have good ice,
right,
that's number two.
right.
If you have places to stay, that means you can have a hockey tournament. If you had 3 hotels, you could run 24 hours a day, like they do in Vegas, and you generate a lot of income.
yeah,
And if you have retail.
Absolutely.
Right,
So you gotta have, you know, it's like, think big,
yeah,
think big. Don't cut out the locker rooms, don't cut out the sales, don't cut out the
The
little
seating.
mezzanine area.
yeah,
That's the problem with,
Victor's for sure, they don't
Yeah,
have
they don't
seating.
have any
Yeah.
seating.
That's why they're expanding their building,
They have
so.
to spend it later because people were coming.
Yeah.
They're gonna sit in those, yeah.
We need to get clarification on the timing. We know we have to vote on this
Yes.
at the next town council meeting to say whether or not we're
we wanna
participating.
move, right.
That's all we're doing is
Yes.
saying we want to participate. But,
I think everyone is submitting a project at this point.
well, everyone is
anyone-
doing their due diligence
The
because
county.
even if,
The
let's
county
just,
is not?
Not at this time, they're waiting for everybody to vote on
the
it.
Right.
county is
Just like
not
last
doing
time.
any research on projects until they know if the municipalities want to participate.
Right,
So, but my thinking is if we have a project that benefits all of Star Valley and really the whole county, then, you know, it looks good for them to not partner, but encourage us that this is a good project.
And
Well-
I hope as a resident that the 1% tax, I've never seen in my lifetime, whenever we're taxed, that tax has gone away.
It goes
Yes.
away.
Never seen it.
I know,
So I'm hopeful that obviously that would.
And go to good things.
There's
And go to
also-
good things.
There's also data that says that, I don't know if it's each family or each resident, but this is essentially, it means about an increase of around $240 per person, I believe. I don't know if it's family or whatever, but they have the data on that.
is that over the 4-year
Yes.
period?
Okay, because I thought it was,
I was
at
like-
least in 2018, it was like $50.
Yeah.
A year.
Yeah, so that would be,
Cause it is an
Close.
extra penny on certain consumables, it's not on every product. There's
Well, it's on
stipulations.
sales tax.
it's
Right.
sales.
So whatever
anything
sales
Whatever you
that's-
pay
Oh,
5% before you'll
okay.
pay 6.
That's not,
I thought certain things were exempt even if they
Like
had sales
groceries.
tax, there were categories.
Right, but that's sales tax. You don't pay sales tax on groceries either.
Oh, okay. Thought- I got excited, there were things that
So-
were exempt.
Town
If,
council.
if we bring forward this project, town council votes on it, and we say, this is our project, and then,
But then if you can't, the tax can't go to the 500,000 running it.
no, it's only,
So it feels like if we don't have the running before the project.
Right,
I'm a firm believer in if you build it, they will come. So,
so this would just be for construction,
yeah,
yeah.
so, I mean, it's a risk, but what,
So I'll bring in my,
I disagree,
Oh, I
totally
would.
disagree.
so I'll bring in my Debbie Downer.
Please, I wanna hear,
I think the best place to go is to sit with the guys at Snow King. I think that per year it ran, that was a dilapidated system. That went $185,000 a year.
Well, they have the numbers. I mean, this is, that's,
I'm just saying.
this is,
And they had to change their chiller, so they gotta do a whole revamp.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that number is quite accurate, because you need 3 guys, 1 guy to run the place, and 2 other guys to help.
it also depends on how many events you have. Now, they've been going for 20 some odd years and have events throughout the whole year. So I think we would be able to run it for quite a bit less because we're not gonna have the size of the program that they have.
But they have the cash with the Moose hockey team, so that's basically who's running that whole hockey rink in the whole.
Oh, in Jackson, for sure, yeah. Councilman Larson, give us your Debbie Downer.
My Debbie Downer. So, going back to the economic contribution study, and thank you for finding that and bringing that on. For someone like me, I really geeked out on it. And it's a great, if you geek out on economic studies, it's a great thing to geek out on. The main thing is we're kind of compare their costs or not so much their expenses, but their revenue with our revenue is apples to oranges, because this is Idaho. They have a completely different tax structure. Their 6% to their lodging tax, that all goes to Victor. Our 6%, we get 2% of that
Right.
6%. And they started off with Kotler doing a huge donation and then having a nonprofit run it, fund it, do it. I think it's great. I agree with everything that you said. I just agree or don't agree it being a 6-penny project. To me, and there's also kind of coming back to the point of how much room will it take up by building this? Are we going to put ourselves in a negative position in the future if we get a school where we'll need the land for something else? You know, on the parks right now, even the skate park, you can still bulldoze that up and take it away pretty easily. But the pump track, you can do that. The ball field, you can do that if we have a big school come in up to junior high, according to Lincoln County number 2. So that concerns me. And it also, as kind of I'll just say I'm a pretty darn fiscal conservative. So when I see a tax go up, I want it to go to needs, not wants. We need, like last time we threw on Grays River Road. We still need that to go down. I know we have a grant coming up. Hopefully that'll cover it all, but that'd be great. Other projects, we need street lamps and bus stops for school kids. It'd be great to tunnel underneath, use this to tunnel underneath the highway so kids can get from that side of the highway to the parks that we have now. We could do.
That's a wide-out project to me.
Would be a collaboration. But my point is there's other needs that we need. And then lastly, this got voted down 38 to 31, 3,800 to 3,100 in a tax climate that was pretty favorable. Right now, everybody's pissed about their property tax. I do not see this passing. I think it'll pass here in Alpine because Alpine's pretty straight. And then when I hear the county still is doing their same old thing, I don't see this passing. I was surprised when I heard about this. When I first heard about it, I was like, well, that's a waste of time because I've sat on all the property tax meetings. There is a large contingency in this county that has not only been here, but has moved here since COVID that are very anti-tax. And I'd be amazed if this passed. That's my Debbie Downer.
Yep.
But I get it, I like it, I do the
You agree that
project.
we should bring a project forward
So
and
that's,
put it
I
on
think
the
that's
ballot?
our decision is. do
That's
we
our
wanna
decision,
participate or not?
I would, personally, I would bring a project forward. It's tough because
Yeah,
I would say I'd bring a project forward, but one that doesn't demand any extra.
operating costs.
Operating costs from our own employees who have a bunch of other stuff to do that they could, I just don't see this passing. And I'm amazed that they brought this forward. That's just me.
Yep.
I'm the Debbie Downer.
So what else does the town need, in your opinion? Do you know what I mean? Because
Streetlights, bus stops for kids, like I say, a tunnel, that'd be great to get with YDOT, a safe tunnel to cross the street.
so
I
So
just
we have
talked
to
to them.
submit this by April
Yeah.
1st.
No, we have to have the,
This
They have
voted
to-
on this month.
they have to know whether or not we're going to participate.
Participate.
And then we still have months to figure out what we're bringing forward.
I think we vote to participate by all means.
Right.
Let's go for it and see what happens. But then, yeah, we need to talk further about what
For
is the
sure.
appropriate project.
Yeah, I think there has to be even further talk on maintenance of the facility and what that costs.
Yeah.
I thought we had to submit our proposal. We had to have all the engineering figured out.
we have to have an estimate.
Yeah,
We have to,
Yeah.
Not on this vote coming up.
are you sure?
We need to
I'll
clarify.
verify.
That's what I was told.
that's what I thought. I thought we had to have it all
our
by April.
engineering estimates.
I thought it had to be done by April.
Yes, and we had to have a project to put forward if we were
So-
deciding to participate.
You mentioned
we
the
need to clarify.
tunnels. You can't get your crosswalk unless you have sidewalks.
Right. Sidewalks. That's part of it.
Yeah, and we did try, and we did
Right.
get that grant.
You can't, I mean, I was excited to hear what's the acronym, the grant for Grays River Road? I was excited to hear that. That'll be great,
FLAP.
but
FLAP.
it's hard to get a grant for any sidewalks, streets and roads. And that's why in 2018, we put that as our project, because everybody uses, in the county, everybody uses Grays River Road to access the Grays. But it's stuff like that.
Well, the current administration, whatever your political leanings are, they are putting a lot of money towards exactly projects like this FLAP grant that we're putting forward. So I think it's just a different environment now than it was in 2018. So like it might be better suited for a FLAP grant for that, and I'd love the federal government to pay for that.
Oh, yeah.
So zero tax burden, whatever, to the taxpayers. I think that's a smart way to go about it. I definitely hear all your feedback on this particular project. We need to get clarification on if there's other things, and you do have the thing that we need.
Yeah, so it does say 2/3 of towns submit a resolution to place the 6-penny tax on the ballot. That's completed by May. But then further down, it says that step 1 is submitting your project along with your estimates. So it's worthwhile to note that engineering costs, which we will need to spend money on to get estimates for whatever, if we decide to come up with a project, those need to be done, and those will be out of our pocket if our project is not, if the populace decides
Yeah,
not to
and
approve
that
the
is-
ballot initiative.
That
so-
is part of the struggle with this.
Yeah.
Is not spending money
Yes,
to
That we
apply
might
for
not
this to
see-
spend money.
yes,
Because we have a fiduciary responsibility to the current taxpayers
yes.
to not spend money to try to enact this tax.
Well, and
we
it
do have
also
to be
has
very
limited us
cognizant.
as far as
And
spreading.
that's why
We
the
can't say,
mayor-
let's look at 3 projects, because
Yeah.
now we're spending engineering
Yeah,
costs on.
and that's
3
why the
projects.
mayor has done all of the legwork himself. He's spent a lot of his own time making phone calls and doing all this because we understand that we really shouldn't be spending the taxpayers' money to do it.
Right.
For example, Afton is bringing forward a planning project for their parks. So that doesn't cost the town of Afton anything. I don't know how much money they're gonna be asking for, but they're basically just asking for the planning. So to me, that's a very conservative, project, but I think that would be well suited. You know, the people are gonna, and,
Mr. Mayor?
yes.
With the study with the school, was there ever any answer as to how many school-age kids are living in Alpine?
We will get those numbers at the next school board meeting, which I believe is the 19th, isn't it?
13th.
Oh, 13th?
That's
Oh,
kind
so
of
it's next.
synonymous with
Yeah.
who's gonna be using it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, if you have, 200 kids,
They claim we have close to 200 kids here. Yeah.
Okay, so in which case, how do we move forward? Should we try to meet again so we can think about a project that we would want to submit? Should we try to make a decision today on if we want to even submit a project?
Well, since it's a
Alpine.
work session, we can't make any decisions here.
Oh, I
but,
just mean get something on the calendar for,
I mean, I don't know how many
I don't know.
more meetings
decide
we've
by the end
got
of the
since
month.
we've got budget meetings coming up. But I think just in general, at the next town council meeting, everyone should have their ducks in a row, read through this, PowerPoint presentation, make sure you understand all the ins and outs. And Monica, this has been distributed to everyone, correct?
Yes.
Okay. We just need to maybe redistribute it just in case you haven't had a chance to read it or you can't find it. But before the next meeting in 2 weeks, we just need to be able to come up with a decision whether or not we're going to bring something forward. So, that was my goal in bringing this up, but
And the other item that you wanted was the generator.
oh, yes. So when the power went out for a few hours a month or two ago, it really highlighted the fact that the Civic Center does not have emergency power. And to me, that is like, if our power was out for a day or more, a week, then people are going to have a place to congregate and, a warm place to stay. So I think another viable project is a generator that lives there, is full-time. It's only dedicated to the Civic Center. So if we ever do have that issue, that people have a warm place to go to.
Safe place to go. Right.
And I don't know, we're getting it sized and everything, and I don't know what the total cost is, but,
So-
rough numbers,
I do.
yeah.
So the equipment and labor to install it right now is roughly, these aren't final numbers, but I called Kevin and spoke to him, roughly $80,000. However, the one thing that he hasn't explored is, in order to do it, there will be a considerable amount of excavation that needs to be done across the parking lot, around the building, all of that. He hasn't priced that portion of it
What's that for?
for the lines to be buried.
Okay.
So I'm not sure where they're placing the generator. But they must be placing it away from the actual
Okay.
building somewhere.
Oh, there's probably, right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that'll probably cost you another $70,000-$80,000.
Yep.
46 something or other, whatever he said.
So, yeah,
Okay.
I think the big thing is we just need to decide if we are going to participate, and then we can start coming up with all these projects. I agree, the tunnel is the best way to, YDOT does not want to pay for us to have a crosswalk.
Right.
So a tunnel is, in my mind, the next best solution, but I guess there might be reasons why it won't work, whatever infrastructure that's below it. To me, that's better than a bridge. Like, who wants a bridge?
Oh, yeah,
huh?
totally. I'd rather
So-
see a tunnel than a bridge.
Yeah, so I think if that's something to consider, then, we should definitely talk to WireDOT. We did discuss this on Monday, yesterday in the staff meeting about, doing that, so it's interesting you brought it up. So anyways, I don't want to waste any more time on that, but, let's go down the list real quick. Monica, what is we just need to,
So I just shared with you
Right.
the agreement for Melvin's. And so there's been a lot of discussions back and forth. And this is the final draft. Because we're trying to figure out how we maintain a level of income without having an industrial waste permitting process. And so they've agreed to pay a flat fee for 1 year from the date that the pretreatment facility comes in to cover all the cost of pretreating and treating their sewage, they'll continue to pay their water bill. And so this is the negotiation about where we've been. So have you guys read it? Do you have any questions or concerns?
I've read it many times. Jim has read it.
Yep, Jim says it, he's okay with it at this point, so.
The reason why you have it tonight was just to make sure everyone's read it, so we can
Yeah.
vote on it for next.
It's probably coming up next week, yeah,
Yeah.
to just, so everybody's aware and had a chance to think about it and see if they have any concerns. Yeah, I'd like to see it on the agenda
Yeah.
for this month.
I don't think we need to spend too much time on it, but has everyone had a chance to read through it? Okay. Yes,
Do we know when the facility will be done?
boy, I can't wait till someone can tell me that.
I was told,
We're at 4 years.
I was told today it would be in June-ish,
You were told in June?
in June-ish,
Yeah, so we had a recent, hurdle we had to try to
another one.
jump. This whole thing has been one hurdle after another, but anyways, we are making some changes to the interior of the building, and it comes down to how, certain equipment is rated explosion-proof and not explosion-proof, and, what our, what do you call it, our permit allows through the DEQ, so this is, you know,
So we're
way inside
basically
baseball, but.
gonna isolate equipment so that, not everything in the plant is rated required explosion-proof, criteria, because if it
Right.
was, our energy costs would increase
Yep.
and our overall costs would.
So building a small room inside the large building is going to save us a lot of headache, but.
And money.
Right now, we're going to have to pay for those changes just to simplify everything,
It
but.
never-
Yeah, it's never ending, but anyways. We hope this summer, it sounds like. Thank you, Shay, for asking.
We're going,
I just always love having.
we're looking at all of that in the budget as well, so
Yeah.
we'll see what those changes look like.
And then the last one we wanted to talk about, and then we'll get out of here, is, ordinance for all streets and roads established speed limit.
Yeah, when I cleaned off my desk, I found this in my long-term to-do pile, because I
Right.
don't think we did anything about it when the last time we seen it, so I don't, so what it is a request from Craig, about, first of all, he wants to say that these are the speed limits based on this. I would assume that I don't think he did not indicate today when we talked about, or the other day when we talked about signage, that he plans to sign the entire town based on this list. I imagine that's a long-term goal, but it's just about setting speed limits throughout the municipality.
Sent you an ordinance already.
Okay.
So what
Was
do we
there-
have now?
Was there a
Nothing.
speed study on this, or, I just noticed that, at least on my 3 roads, maybe definitely 2 roads, that the speed limit, according to this, is increased 5 miles an hour, from 15 to 20.
That's where I think
I
we
would
get
be
into a
opposed to
little
that.
bit of a,
Because,
people are gonna be
And I
like,
can
why is
say-
mine 20 now instead of 15?
because our roads are narrow, they're
Yeah,
only
I
20
can
feet
imagine
wide.
driving 20 up on your roads.
No way.
Yeah,
So the draft ordinance I put in just has residential areas 25. That may not be prudent. And so
It's not,
Look
I'll
at
tell you,
it.
in my neighborhood especially.
if you look at it, you
Okay.
guys can decide, you know, you can change it. That's why I send it in Word format.
Okay.
You change it.
So what would you like me to, what would you, in order to really consider this, what do you need specifically from Craig?
just kind of, how did you come up with these speeds? You know, is there, I mean, I'm looking at different roads on here, and I know different roads definitely have different widths. Different roads have different, traffic numbers.
Yeah, I think it's
Well-
volume of traffic.
Yeah,
But you,
Yeah.
you do have to sign and post it because.
Yes.
well, right now, ours is posted at 15.
It's just a lot of roads to have signage, so,
But there's gotta be some sort of simple formula. you
Right,
can come up
right,
with, And you could
right.
say, all right, all residential areas are 20
right,
rather than 25. I mean, and so, in,
Can you get by with the main sign that said all roads are 25 unless otherwise?
unless
Posted.
otherwise
That's
posted.
what,
can do that.
Does that cover us for
But-
the ordinance that you're
but-
talking about?
Yeah, but if you look, I mean, here's what I was trying to find out, is
Mm-hmm.
because YDOT has all their rules and whatnot
Right.
on how you should set speeds, but I can't find the YDOT rules, on how to do that. But,
Okay.
because you do have authority within the municipality to set your road speeds. They have formulas telling you how you should do it, but it really, my argument is the only thing they have jurisdiction over is the highway.
Yeah,
And if you're gonna change it on the highway, you've got to contact YDOT and have their study and whatnot to do that. But everywhere else in the town, I think we have jurisdiction to do that. It's just trying to simplify it in a way that we're not, okay, up here on the hill, we've got them at 15.
right, but now over here in
we've
this
got it at
neighborhood,
10,
right,
It's 20, and, let's just call it good at all 20, and maybe that doesn't work on the hill, so you just call this area, or we could zone
Yeah.
the town out. It's like zone 1 would be 25 miles an hour, zone 2 areas 20, zone 3 15. That way there's a specific, because once again, when you have to enforce it,
right,
Yeah.
the judge has to be able to look and go, okay, one, do they have notice? So as far as just posting one sign, I don't know if you're gonna get away with that unless everything's that way.
okay,
What's the process? Because in my neighborhood, it was posted as 20, and then we all raised the fuss, and 10 years ago, they changed it to 15. Did it come in front of town council for that one particular?
I did not find anything in our old ordinances where any speed was set.
So
Something just
basically,
shut
someone
the
out and
sign.
put a sign out there?
Yeah, yeah, and I think you need
No,
to
no,
have-
the town, I think.
Yeah, you need to.
It
have-
wasn't me, I swear.
You need to have an ordinance.
You're your own traffic police here.
Yeah,
paid for by Aaron,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah. You need to have an ordinance that,
Well, even when school zones are active and the lights
Right.
flashing yellow,
Yeah.
I mean, that's 25.
or
Yeah.
20 some,
25.
yeah, 20.
If we had a school, boy, that'd be fun to put all those signs up.
Right, so
So,
I did the outline for it, you guys
Okay.
can figure out how you wanna do it. My
Yeah.
suggestion, like I said, would be, you could even take your map there and go, okay, this is zone, these are zone 1s, there's different colors there, and.
Ugh.
you have to think about compliance, I mean, you can
Yeah.
drive faster than 15 miles an hour. You know, I mean, in a car, has anybody gone 15 miles an hour?
I-
and seen
I don't
that
know how many
feels?
people
That's
will
pretty
follow
slow,
it, right,
You know,
right,
They better not go faster than 20 though. You get stuff thrown at you in my neighborhood.
I'm that grumpy old man.
You better hope it's a rock and not something out of
Mhm.
And you do it all at 25, and then the ones you slow down, you put some speed
But why
bumps.
can't you just post a sign that said, like they do in Idaho, it's all whatever, 40 unless otherwise posted? And then you do a sign for whatever you want to do.
yeah.
I like that, let's go.
You have a lead foot, but all
I
your,
think
all your
finding a
kids have
way-
moved out of the house.
Make sure that Jim can get me out of
Not if it's here, I can't.
Also, I just think of plowing. I think if there's
Yes.
more signs, how many are gonna get knocked over during plowing? I just think if you did it one,
Yeah.
then
The problem is, like, my neighborhood, 15 is what we,
we would
Really
have to put
appre-
speed bumps in.
what?
We'd have to actually do speed bumps or something.
Yeah,
Speed calming
yeah.
Speed
They have
calm.
to come out in the winter anyway, they're gonna get chopped down by the.
Well,
Isn't that what kids are for?
Take 'em out.
I think
speed dips
if
work
we can
better.
find a way to do as little signage as possible, but still be compliant and have safety, that's my goal.
Like Emily on our road, we could just do
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, the road go teeing into Three Rivers is 20.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know, anybody in their right mind won't be speeding anyway.
No.
Just shouldn't.
ew,
and
you're
you'll
just
have a
gonna,
cost savings on not buying so many signs.
Yep. And worrying about the plowing. I think that's very legitimate. They're gonna get buried.
Okay.
Okay, last
That's it,
agenda item?
I think, isn't it?
No, there's one more.
Town hall safety improvement.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about that. That's me.
Do you wanna
Okay.
make some money?
Sorry, Monica, one
I
more.
think that's where this came.
I've been trying on that for 10 years.
I
So,
guess there's one more.
yeah, so, there's been some events since the beginning of the year, that employees, they've mentioned it historically, even prior to this, but I think, it's something everybody's thinking about. It's just more in the forefront of your mind about safety here at Town Hall. As everybody's aware, this building is not designed in any way to protect anybody from whoever walks in the front door in any way. I mean, even if they have COVID, it's not designed to protect them. We're the only municipality in the valley that doesn't have some sort of barrier when people walk in the front door to keep people isolated in a way, and then if they'll be invited further back into the building. And so there's been a lot of discussions, and even Steve,
Our safety, yeah.
our codes guy, safety, I mean, he said, yeah, you need to have, he's offered to do active shooter training with us, which he's gonna put together, but, and do some training with the staff, but it's just something I wanted to ask is, like, what's your idea? Like, first, just, I'm kinda interested, like, all of us probably have some sort of idea. I mean, but we would have to
Need
clearly
a bigger
figure it
building.
out, make a plan, it'd have to be budgeted for,
Right,
We need a bigger building.
yeah,
okay, well.
That
let's
costs
see what
money.
We could, that's a big,
that
right.
costs money.
Or reconfigured or
I
something.
think, yeah, just reconfigure that front office to, I mean, we've moved it, what, 3 or 4 times in the last year?
Yeah.
So we can move it again and try to implement some safety, some things to
Yeah,
keep everybody
they want a
safe.
wall.
Same with this room.
They want a wall?
They want a wall. They want nobody to be able to walk into this back part of the building. They want the doors locked. They want to have a window. So if somebody comes here
Oh.
with the wrong intentions, that they
Right.
cannot judge. I mean, the truth is, if they walked in here with a gun, the girls joke about it. And when Christine was out there, she used to be in the kill zone. Now, they joke that Melody and Sarah's in the kill zone, and that me and her could probably duck out somewhere or hide by the
So
time
could
they
we
got in the back.
retrofit the front window to be more of
I
a,
don't know. That's my question. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I think you almost have to put up a wall with, a window that could be opened or something, or like it's got, someone could come in and
Right.
you ask them, what can I help you with, or whatever,
Right.
you have to be able to communicate
and
with
then
them
Yeah.
there's
still.
a door that
They're
they
not,
could then.
they're not
be
talking about
invited
like
back.
just a solid wall, no one sees anybody coming
Right,
in.
no, I understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but, and then, yeah, you get invited back.
Right,
Because the
Or
way
you
it
just
works
do-
right now, basically, you can see somebody coming in off the street, and then they walk right in back to Christine,
Yeah,
or back to,
yeah.
there's no, like, yeah.
Well, the dual advantage of that would be that, yeah, exactly, people just walk back to Christine's office,
That's the
whether
thing.
she wants them there or not.
Exactly.
And so you're providing safety and you're also providing screening.
right.
Productivity,
I
hopefully
think that's a
too.
good idea. I think we can figure that out. Whether
So-
it's retrofitted.
So,
or
yeah, so
creating
where do I even
another wall.
start though to
Right.
do so? That's my question. I have no idea. Like, where do I even
So
start?
I think we need to talk to Steve about it and see if he's got some suggestions, and then, like, Thane and Afton both have something, you know, in place
Yeah.
that we could,
Inside the
and,
judge's bench.
I don't know, I don't wanna pay a consultant to tell us
No,
that, you know, we
I
need to,
think we can
yeah.
figure
I
this
think
out.
between, like Rob might be able to put something together. He's a builder, kind of, right? Rob Wagner.
Oh, yeah,
We have
definitely.
staff that has,
Yeah, experience.
Yeah.
that can help us put this
And,
together.
yeah, and Craig has a guy on his team who has wonderful carpentry skills as well.
I think we could build whatever we get designed, but let's hopefully come up with some concepts, and I can
Yes, I
help,
think we're
like, put
gonna
them
have
on
to just come up with some
AutoCAD
sort
or
of a
something.
budget. I'm not saying this needs to be done before next fiscal year, but I just didn't know, like, where to even
No,
start
but we
to
should
figure
put it
this
on the
out.
radar and start thinking
Yeah,
about.
I think everyone agrees
What we
that's
have in place.
important, and we should start looking into it.
Awesome.
What about this area?
I agree.
Yeah, have you guys ever thought about that if somebody comes in?
Oh, yeah.
We, Well, the thing is.
Not for a town hall.
What we do when we have concerns is we put the podium right in front. Jim does that for some reason. He puts it right in front of me.
And then I sit by it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anyone has anything that would protect you in this environment.
Yeah.
But
I mean, typically during the day, while we're at work, those doors are locked, but
These doors?
those are typically
Yeah.
locked during the day.
But I also think, like, and all of us can take it, a de-escalation class and an active shooter class, and we've done those at church, and it's literally just how to use manpower
Yeah.
against somebody coming in. It's not like you're
Yeah.
hacking and you have to, be a sharpshooter.
Yeah, and Steve's willing, because he has all that.
he's
experience,
willing to do it at
all
each of
that
our
for us,
locations too.
Amazing.
For all it, yeah.
So we should do one and we can invite the public. Bye, Shay.
Well, Shay,
We're all gonna be packing coming to this.
No, that's, definitely not what we want, but,
Polite society.
It's polite for a reason.
but I think it makes sense, so thanks for coming, you guys. Anyways, yes, great idea. Any other conversation points we want to